Hey guys, welcome back to Ivy Crypto. Back with another review slash price prediction on one of my favorite coins for the next 5 years, and that is RSR, the Reserve Rights Token, currently trading at 3 cents, down from a high of 11 cents not too long ago. But I do believe if this project goes to plan and executes what they plan on executing, this could be an absolutely huge one. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's get straight into it. What is RSR? What can it be used for? So RSR token serves multiple purposes within the Reserve Protocol, which is the project. The token's primary purpose is to provide a mechanism to maintain the dollar-pegged value of the network's stablecoin, RSV. Uniquely, the Reserve Protocol is designed to scale supply based on demand. In this way, the protocol maintains 100% or more on-chain collateral backing. The Reserve Protocol was built to be secure and provide a viable alternative to the centralized fiat currency in use today. The network utilizes a basket of smart contract managed cryptocurrencies to maintain its value. The project launched using USD, TrueUSD, and Paxos Standard (PAX). Eventually, the developers hope to leverage a vault of 100 plus different low volatility assets to secure RSV's value. The concept of a multi-asset on-chain stablecoin has always been of interest to investors, and as such, the Reserve Protocol has seen considerable adoption since its launch. According to company reports, the coin has increased in value by more than 320% since January alone. So basically, to put it simply, RSR wants to be what the Reserve Bank is to fiat currency. They want to be to cryptocurrency, which in theory is going to be fantastic. But what problems does it solve? I think the main problem that RSR attempts to reduce is volatility. The volatility of cryptocurrencies has restricted the market's expansion as a medium of exchange. Merchants have been reluctant to accept cryptocurrencies due to concerns that they could lose their profits during market downturns, such as what we're seeing now with obviously the news of China, Elon Musk, all these things that happen that turn the market red. The Reserve Protocol provides a stable store of value, medium of exchange, and standard of deferred payment to the market. There's some benefits to RSR as well. To accomplish its goals, the Reserve Protocol created an accessible and trusted ecosystem that enables users to easily store or transfer value globally. The network provides low-friction cross-border transaction and makes it ideal for enterprise and remittance use cases. But how does it all work? I mean, I'm saying a bunch of words and all that sort of stuff. How does it work? And I'm showing the investors right now while I talk about this, because I do think they have some huge investors, which is one of the things I will be talking about later on in the video. The Reserve Protocol introduces an innovative way to maintain its stablecoin's value. Specifically, when the reserve is above its target price plus a stability spread, the system automatically auctions tokens. This lowers the token supply, which lowers the price. Reversibly, the system buys RSV if the value drops below the target price, plus a spread to raise the demand. The Reserve Protocol continues to gain momentum in the market due to its unique characteristics and capability. Even recently, PayPal acknowledged they were in talks with the Reserve team. This news has only helped the platform's positioning in the stablecoin sector. So guys, obviously you can see here some massive investors. One of the big ones is the Coinbase Ventures, and a couple of other people here. It's quite a long list. But according to the creators of the Reserve Protocol, eventually cryptocurrencies and blockchains will consolidate. There will be a power struggle to determine which blockchains are the most useful and most usable. And eventually we will see a smaller number of cryptocurrency emerge with global domination. Until this happens, disruption in the financial world, the possibility of a looming catastrophe as central banks print mountains of money remain on the table. Once cryptocurrencies consolidate and go global, a golden period of prosperity is likely to follow. And here's why. Traditional fiat money that's printed and controlled by governments is broken in parts of the world and is becoming increasingly broken as increasingly corrupt politicians and governments seek power and wealth, which is creating an issue in the maintenance of stable values in fiat currencies. So we're obviously seeing that now with Biden printing potentially a $3 trillion budget. And as we all know, the US has printed almost 30% of all the money that it's ever printed in the last 12 months alone, which is absolutely insane to think about. So here we look at we go to this picture to look at some inflation. The problem can't be solved through the use of cryptocurrency. The problem can be solved, through the use of cryptocurrency and more specifically stablecoins, which is where RSR comes in. There are a number of projects that are currently have centralized stablecoins pegged to the US dollar or to some other fiat currency. But the most promising future of cryptocurrency is more likely to be in a decentralized stablecoin that's not dependent on any one fiat currency or any asset. Once this type of asset emerges, many nations of the world will see an improvement in the livelihood of the common man. So Venezuela is a place where Reserve is huge. They're one of the top 10 apps in Venezuela, so you can see that already it's working well in these sorts of countries. And the team at Reserve seeks to build a stablecoin that is completely decentralized with a network of fiat on/off ramps and a complete inability to be shut down once launched. The goal is to have a stablecoin that makes money secure for not just the banked in developed countries, but also for the billions of unbanked around the world who have no safe place to store their money. The Reserve Protocol seeks to circumvent corrupt bankers and governments, allowing anyone in the world to have a secure store of currency that can't be stolen by banks or inflated by any governments. The Reserve Protocol will make this a reality by creating a fully decentralized stablecoin backed by a diverse set of assets. The stablecoin will make a low-friction cross-border transaction possible all over the world, and it will ensure that governments can't abuse the currency since it will be out of their control and impossible to shut down. So obviously, guys, they've got some big plans, and one of the things that's important to talk about is how the Reserve actually remains stable. One key to the Reserve is how well it can maintain stability. If demand for the token drops, it would logically follow that the price will also drop. So how will a stable peg be held in the face of challenging demand? For the sake of argument, let's imagine that the redemption price of one RSV is $1. If the price on the open market drops to 98 cents, there will be an incentive to buy RSV on the open market and redeem it to the smart contract for $1 worth of collateral tokens. That will continue until the open market value returns to $1, at which time it will no longer be profitable to buy and redeem the RSV tokens. If demand increases and the price of RSV rises, the same mechanism will return the price to its stable peg. For example, if increased demand causes RSV on the open market to be priced at $1.02, arbitrageurs will step in and purchase the newly minted RSV for $1 and then sell them on the open market for a profit. This will continue until the price on the open market is driven down to $1 by the RSV selling. I know that can seem like quite a confusing concept, guys, but there is a lot of content on their website that discusses this in great detail. But the point is, it remains stable. There is a mechanism in place. One of the other things I wanted to talk about is obviously that the Reserve Protocol is split into two coins, which is the RSR token and the RSV token. Personally, I hold the RSR token. It's the second token in the ecosystem, and this token has two primary functions in the Reserve Protocol. It's a utility token, allowing holders to vote on governance protocols, and two, it will help keep the RSV value at its target price of $1. Unlike the stablecoin RSV, the RSR token is volatile. They have been offered to investors and the proceeds fund the Reserve Protocol project. While the RSI is volatile, it is also used to guarantee the collateralization rate and peg of the RSV. So obviously it is a key in all of this, and it does play an important part. And the Reserve Protocol has already released its mobile app in several South American countries, which is what I was talking about before with Venezuela and whatnot. And they say the typical users in October 2020 are the business owners and common people of Venezuela, who benefit from the low-friction transactions enabled by the Reserve Protocol. They also benefit from the ability to save and transact in a currency other than the instantly inflationary Venezuelan peso. Usually the Reserve Protocol gives them the ability to cash in and out using bank transfers if they wish, or by using PayPal or Zelle. The process is quite simple. A user cashes into the ecosystem by requesting to buy RSV in the app. They make a transfer in whatever way they prefer, and the transfer goes to one of the Reserve protocol network traders who fulfill the request by sending RSV. The user can then spend the RSV as they like, and if they wish to cash out later, they simply use the same process in reverse. The project is already growing in user base and is just the beginning of what the Reserve Protocol team is envisioning. The plan is to extend the network to countries all over the globe. Additionally, there are plans to add other functionalities such as handling card payment processing, automated currency exchange, handling payrolls, and much more. Of course, everything that's planned has been built before, but not all together and not on the blockchain. Plus, there are many places in the world cut off from access to these basic financial services. It hasn't been proven yet, but the Reserve Protocol team believes entire economies can be run using cryptocurrencies, and that by using a peer-to-peer approach, they will remove the oversight and regulation that often comes with financial systems. These peer-to-peer transactions cannot be tracked by any third-party agency. They are anonymous, and it is nearly impossible for governments to control the flow of capital in these peer-to-peer transactions. It's well known that cryptocurrency and digital assets as they exist today are extremely volatile in their nature. Because of this, there are already numerous stablecoins that have been developed in order to provide cryptocurrency traders and holders with more reliable long-term prices. So we looked at the stablecoins here. Some of the largest stablecoin projects, you guys are obviously familiar with them, are Tether, TrueUSD, Paxos Standard, USD Coin, and Binance Coin. All of these are collateralizing their stablecoins with the US dollar. In addition, there are a number of projects that are not using the US dollar as a collateralization method. These include DAI from MakerDAO, and of course the RSV, the reserve stablecoin from the Reserve Protocol. By launching in high inflation countries such as Venezuela and Argentina, and by targeting emerging market economies, the team believes they will be able to gain a competitive advantage. That's certainly true for those countries, but it remains to be seen if it will be true on a global scale. So we briefly looked at the team, guys, before, and I did really want to talk about this a little bit more in depth, as I said. So one of the most impressive things about Reserve, in my opinion, is the team. They have an incredible skill set and a very impressive credentials. After being founded in 2018 by a group of 3 co-founders, the team has grown to 10 known members. Those 18 individuals have working experience at Alphabet, Impossible Foods, Tesla, IBM, OpenAI, Hashgraph, the Jane Goodall Institute, and Miri. Besides these 10 who are listed on the Reserve Protocol website, there are a number of anonymous members who are not listed because of their location or because they don't wish their identities to be known. But the team is very impressive, and the investors, which I've actually put here, is very impressive. So these are some of the things that I like about the Reserve Protocol, and this is how it works. We'll get more into this a little bit later. There was something else I want to show you guys, which is RSR versus RSV. So the RSR smart contract repository forked from the Carbon Network / smart contract repository can be found at the Reserved Protocol / smart contract and currently has 1,587 commits. And the RSV can be explored at Reserve-Protocol / RSV v2, having 3 significant contributions and 316 comments at the time of this video. So as I talked about before, guys, RSR is working with the Venezuelan government and 7 Mobile Africa, which is the biggest mobile phone importer in Angola. It's got institutional investors from Coinbase, Digital Currency Group, Refactor Capital, Fenbushi Capital, Rocket Fuel, and GSR, just to name a few. And a few other nations that Reserve Rights is looking to expand into are Panama, Argentina, Colombia, and they're all suffering an economic downturn and hyperinflation, which means there is no lack of users who might profit from having access to the Reserve Protocol. So lastly, guys, I wanted to obviously talk about the 3 reasons why I'm invested in this, why I believe in it so strongly, and why, this is only 3 years old. If you think about other projects where they are 3 years into their inception, this coin has made it quite far already. But the 3 reasons for me, number 1 being mission, utility, and working product. So the first few attributes that I want to know about a project are: does it provide valuable service? In this case, yes. Does it help people make people's lives better? Which this one does. And does it carry out the goals in a unique way? RSR checks all these boxes. The basic idea is that the Reserve Protocol has two tokens, which is RSR and RSV, and the stablecoin is backed by a basket of stablecoin assets, and RSR is the governance and stabilization mechanism. I'm not going to go into the full details as I discussed earlier. I'm not going to go into full details because there's so much to talk about, but obviously check out their website, check out more information online. The reason it hits its mission is the centralized phase. RSR is backed by a small number of collateral tokens, each of which is tokenized by the US dollar. The decentralization phase, where Reserve is backed by a changing basket of assets in a decentralized way, but still stabilized in price with respect to the US dollar. And the independence phase, where Reserve is no longer pegged to the US dollar with the intent of stabilizing its real purchasing power regardless of fluctuations in the value of the dollar. So obviously we're not there yet, but I do think if we get there that this could be absolutely huge. The protocol acts a way for individuals throughout the world to access stable currency, which isn't always available in many places and is obviously becoming more and more scarce with how crazy COVID has made the economy across the world. The basket of stablecoin assets allows for reduced risk in case of one stablecoin loses its peg, and they already have a working app being utilized in Venezuela, Argentina, Colombia, and Panama, as I previously said. The Reserve Protocol also has plans to eventually remove itself from the US dollar peg and incorporate other types of collateral into the Reserve Vault. To become completely independent of state-run currency, RSI is the token to own of the two, as RSV is a stablecoin and should not vary drastically in price, as we've previously discussed. The number two reason why I'm huge on this is the influencer support and RSI ranges. Projects can have the best tech and ideas, but if no one knows about them, they can flop into oblivion, as we've seen with plenty of great projects. Luckily, RSR has massive support from many influencers and the group of cult followers known as the RSR Rangers. The RSR Rangers make sure the RSR remains in public spotlight continuously on social media and crypto media, in addition to influencers recognizing the promising model and value behind RSR. RSR has received interest from lots of big YouTubers, as we've seen. And don't sell the RSI Rangers short, as some of them have drawn the comparison to the Link Marines, obviously with Chainlink. Number three, guys, I obviously already talked about this, but the investors, the Coinbases, the PayPals, and the support. Not only does RSI have support from influencers and its rangers, but they obviously have support from major institutional investors. Coinbase Ventures of the Coinbase Exchange is one of the many investors in Reserve. Coinbase investment has led to Coinbase listings in the past, and Coinbase listing has historically caused tokens to absolutely skyrocket, and as we know, RSR is not sold on Coinbase just yet. Another major investor is Peter Thiel, co-founder of PayPal. This leads many RSR supporters to the conclusion that there must be a pay-by partnership in the future, and guys, honestly, it would be silly if that didn't happen. Again, this would have a massive impact on the price and a huge increase in user base for Reserve. These are only two of the major partnerships, and we obviously can see that there is massive partnerships here. But pretty much, guys, to wrap it up, my opinion, RSI checks all the boxes to continue massive growth as they roll out in the rest of the world and move towards independent peg off the dollar. If Coinbase listing and PayPal partnership materialize, the sky's only the limit for this. But even without those partnerships, it seemed that RSR has a strong fundamental future ahead, and this could really be a gem. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content, and as always, watch this space.